I-80 Club After Dark. Josh Peterson, Jack Mitchell with you live here on YouTube on the I-80 Club YouTube page. If you are joining us live here, we would love to have you like and subscribe and hang out with us over the next 90 minutes or so as we discuss Nebraska's 56-7 loss to the Indiana Hoosiers. By the way, Jack, as we say hello, Arch Manning apparently warming up on the sidelines with his helmet on for the Texas Longhorns. How are you?
Good. Is that because Ewer's hurt, or are we just bringing in the next guy?
I think it's the next guy. I think it's time to bring in the next guy.
Changing of the guard.
Yeah,
Changing of the guard. Just like it happened with Brock Osweiler in the reverse with the Manning family.
Nice. Good reference. Wow, what a reference. I did not expect 2015 Denver Broncos to come up on the podcast.
I remember they put Brock Osweiler in, and that's when you knew it was over. It's like a mirror image of what's happening now in some ways.
Yeah, exactly. Caleb Henry, who's hanging out in the chat on our Discord server, says, Triple B shirt. I actually have one, Jack, on underneath my sweatshirt tonight, the one that says the Nebraska beer scene is rad. So we're both Triple B guys tonight.
Shout out Triple B. Shout out Triple B.
If you're hanging out live, you are not a subscriber to the I-80 Club Patreon page. We would love to have you. Patreon.com/I-80 Club. We promise during football season 3 pods a week, except for the idle week last week. We just did 2. We do Wednesday nights. We do Saturday mornings. We do Saturday nights. But we have been doing a ton of additional content lately. We had a guest on to talk about the Indiana Hoosiers actually earlier this week. This next week, Doug Maurice of Kings of the North. He's going to join us on Tuesday. We have Kemp Pavelka, Dirk Chatlin, and more. We have a Nebraska basketball podcast coming very, very shortly as well. We would love to have you. We think that we are doing great work. We think that we are having a whole lot of fun, and certainly the community. Yes, let's pat ourselves on. Many people compliment my questions.
Think we're doing great work.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, we think we have a great community built over on the Discord server. So if you would want access to that, whether it's to comment along with the show tonight or just come and talk Husker football and be miserable with everybody, Patreon.com/I-80 Club is where you can go. And again, like and subscribe on the YouTube page. Jack, they lost by 49 points.
I'm basically speechless, which is bad because I have to talk for an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. Let me have a few things just off the table, off my head, so I can check them off in my own head for having said them. Okay. If you think you're pointing out something unique that went bad today, you're not. Everything went bad today. Okay.
Yeah.
If you think you found the thing today, you didn't. There were 27 other things today. They all went terrible.
They did.
It wasn't one coach. It wasn't one coach, one player, one anything, one portion of the game. Everything that could be terrible was terrible today, almost for the entire game, which is almost impressive, Josh.
Yeah.
It's almost impressive that could even happen.
That it went bad from snap 1 all the way until the last snap of the game.
Yes.
It really was front to back.
It was
garbage.
Yes. So we'll get into that throughout the show. Let me get this one thing off my chest because I got highly annoyed by this during the game, and I'm going to try not to tonight. But
okay.
The fan that is excitedly confirming their theory about something and using the Nebraska loss to confirm that theory and then proclaiming it to everyone.
Yeah.
I can't handle you. Okay. I'm not saying you're a bad person. Okay. I'm not saying I'm not saying you can't be in the club, but if you are, and it may not be gleeful, but there's a little bit of vindication in the tone of the
I told you so
or the chat. The I told you so. If you're doing that after a loss, again, you're not a bad person. You're a great person. I can't be with you, okay? And I had to be away from that during the course of the day.
Yeah, you logged off.
Today.
You logged off for a large portion of today.
I cannot, and I'm not even directing it to so many people on Twitter, so many people. everywhere. And it's such a variety of things, whether it's the coach somebody thinks should be fired, whether it's the player that should be substituted, whether it's a vindication of people underestimating Indiana, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. I'll remind you of that tonight, folks.
You know what? In a lot of cases, you might be right. But, like, I can't hear you do that in that situation. That's just, I can't. Okay? And so I can't, and you can fan how you want. So I removed myself.
Yeah. Hey, it's always good to log off, right?
All I'm saying is, and you can say what you want tonight, and I'm not, you can do that tonight. It's fair game. It's all fair game. I'm going to try my best to react to that in a respectful, pleasant way.
Yeah.
Just know I hate it.
Nice. Nice.
Just know I despise it.
And
you know what I just want from
you?
you? I just want you. What I want. No, you're a great person. I don't hate you. I said. Remember, I don't hate you. You're a great person. You do great things in the community. This is, maybe one little flaw, and maybe I'm just overblowing it. Okay. But what I want you to be, is just sad.
Yeah.
I just want you to be sad.
We all take out our sadness in different ways, right?
Yeah, some people do it by finding vindication.
Some people make jokes about terrorist attacks that have happened to America to deal with their sadness. Other people don't. So,
so I just needed to get those two things off my chest.
Yeah.
There's no one thing. We're not going to find it tonight. And I'm going to try and deal with vindication through a loss guy or gal the best that I can tonight. But fair warning.
Josh Delo writes, Jack, you can be sad and be right at the same time. Interesting. Jack, your thoughts?
Correct, but you don't have to talk about it.
Where do we begin with this, Jack? I wrote a couple things down earlier. Things down.
It's a good question. It really is.
Yeah, because I saw Chattel's column was titled, "Is the honeymoon over?" The title of this video is the program regressing? I saw the word regress a lot today, so that's been on my brain a lot. Certainly there are coaches that we could spend many, many minutes talking about tonight. And I have I'm going to save, I have kind of a meaty question that I want to save for later, just because I do think it could derail things a little bit early on. But where do we begin with this game that, as you said, it went poor from the start? The ease in which Indiana was able to move the ball down the field, I mean, it showed itself right away. Nebraska, I mean, Jack, I don't know what it was like for you. I guess here's where we can begin. How early in the game did you say they need to score or this game is over? Because there was a couple of moments when they made it 14-7. That was first of all, they'd had two good drives in a row, and they finished the second one, and it's like, okay. And Jack, they overcame the missed block by Fedoni, and it's almost like they said, let's do a play again and have Fedoni finish it this time. And he did. And so I was actually with a buddy, and I said, this next drive is the drive. They have to get a stop because then they can get the ball back. They could do something interesting. At the very least, maybe the first half finishes, and you get the ball first in the second half. And so I'm dreaming up these scenarios where it's 14-all or 21-14 or whatever it is. And they don't, it's not even that they don't get a stop. Indiana goes right down the field, and suddenly at the half, it's 28-7 versus being 14-all or something like that.
Yeah, when it was with the 28-7, I think I tweeted something like that they could give him the Mortal Kombat finish him blow right now in this game.
Yeah.
And then they did, like two seconds after I tweeted. Here's a conversation I don't have now. We can get to bigger picture things down the road, but Josh, it's a little unproductive right now, to be honest. Right? Like, we got a lot of games before anything big picture is changing. It's just the truth of it. Right?
Yeah, they're not making changes.
I know there may be people out there who think there should be firings in the middle of the season. That's not happening. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And there may be, I'm sure there'll be changes of some sort at the end of the season. I don't know exactly what there will be, but let's talk about it in, something that is relevant to the next few weeks and the rest of the season. And the question is, how exceptional, how fluky, and if it was, why in the heck did this happen? Because has anything like this shown up before this year? I guess I'll say that. Has it in bits and pieces? Like, is there anything that you would have seen that would have expected this? You would have expected.
You talking about like the Matt Rule era so far?
Yeah. Just this performance.
I mean, look, the offense is not
shocked.
The offense has not been perfect this year, and it's been
sure.
trending in this direction for weeks now, and it just all kind of came together at the worst time. The defense, I mean, certainly the last 2 weeks look like fool's gold, and I think now the outlier game, I wonder if in hindsight if the outlier game is Colorado for everything, but really for the defense, because Colorado put up a shitload of points again today, and they moved the ball again today. And,
without Hunter for a half.
Yeah, and in that game, Nebraska shut them down from the jump. And so I wonder if in hindsight, because the Illinois game happened, and Illinois got another win today, they moved to 6-1. They dominated Michigan. And like that was the other good, like who are the good teams that Nebraska's played this year? I think they've played 3. They played Illinois, they played Colorado, and they played Indiana. In 2 of those 3, they got pushed around. They got moved around. I mean, in one of them, and that was today's, they looked outmatched. They looked like they did not belong on the field.
That's not a strong enough word. It's not a strong enough word.
Yeah, it really is.
Hey, Josh, I haven't seen anything like this. 2 teams on the field with Nebraska involved since 70-10 in Lubbock. That was the worst thing I've seen. You know what? Maybe Riley's Ohio State game, but I don't even know if I would say that.
Wow.
It was that bad to me. It was that bad.
And I mean, it's 56
and I think that Ohio
7.
State team in the end is going to be better than this Indiana team too. So
yeah, that Ohio State team
and that Nebraska team was way worse than this Nebraska team. So,
were they?
Well,
I mean, look, a lot of people have been making the 2016 comparisons lately, and sadly, I'm starting to wonder how true they are. I mean, that team, the difference was that team felt like a kind of a paper tiger from the jump. They were winning a lot of close games, whereas this team, for the most part, their wins are not close games. I feel like the team was better. I feel like the team was better on September 1st than they are now. Way better. I feel like the Nebraska team from a month and a half ago, for a variety of reasons. Like, I don't know if this is going to be the show where we have like a long conversation about Dylan, but dude, he has not looked good. He hasn't looked good for a month now, and I feel like his footwork has gotten lazy. I feel like I don't know if his progressions have gotten lazy. I just feel like his performance is not matching how we were talking about him after the Illinois game. And I don't know if that's I hate the term reading his press clippings like it's 1980. There aren't press clippings anymore. But like, I don't know what's happened to him, but and the receivers, dude, so disappointing. And it's so funny because it's like there's an offense and a defense conversation to have today. But they're a worse football team right now than they were a month ago. By far.
Yeah. And by the way, I meant 2017 Nebraska Ohio State, not 2016.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the 62-3 game.
No, I was talking about. I guess that I was talking more about the
one in Lincoln.
The feel of it was more like the one in Lincoln.
Oh, okay, that game sucked
because that other one was weird because Tommy got hurt.
Tommy got hurt.
When I said the team was worse, I meant the 2017.
I see.
Just
okay,
to be clear.
Yeah,
but
that team was way worse.
So
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't have answers for any of it, and that's going to be the problem tonight. I really don't, because honestly, if I had to describe how that game looked like, it looked like it looked like Indiana was on a power play the entire game. They had one extra player on the field the entire game is what it looked like.
They looked faster.
It was 11 on 10. The holes were bigger, and the Nebraska offense doesn't I watch games after it's over, after the Nebraska game's over, and I am right now.
Yep.
And Josh, it's like every offense just looks so much more natural and free. And it looks like they're almost playing on a bigger field.
Yes,
that's
Nebraska a great way to describe it. Yeah.
It's I can't and you talk about Dylan, like when he's always like when does Nebraska just have like a normal pass play?
I know.
Right?
An easy
normal play. Drop back, boom. They got it. They actually did, I think, once get it to Fedoni on a play like that today. So credit where credit is due. But their pass game, the offense looks so unnatural. Every single thing about it looks unnatural and difficult. And again, it looks like the field is small. It looks like the other team has 11 players. No one is ever in empty space, Josh.
Nope, they're not.
And that's not just this week. No one
Jack,
is ever freaking in empty space in that offense.
Obviously, that like this can lead if we wanted it to a Satterfield conversation, and I don't think we want to do that just yet. But I will say this, man. I watch a lot of football, and I watched Indiana today, and you know what I saw with their offense? I saw movement, I saw motion, I saw formation changes, I saw them doing things. Nebraska's offense is too static, and so they line up in the formation, and the formation that they line up in is the formation that the defense has to defend. And that is how it has been. And today, it's probably the opponent and the movement that they had pre-snap, but it just really was jumping off the page to me. And I think that's why, think of the Indiana touchdown drives when the game was in doubt early, and just how easy it feels and how natural it looks.
Yeah.
Nebraska, when they scored, the first drive that they got down there, that wasn't the one that ended on a fumble, was it? How did the first drive end?
So that was when it was 7-0. So yeah,
how did
that was the fumble, right?
That was the fumble. Okay,
yeah,
but think about so they had that drive, they had the touchdown drive, and then they had another drive after the touchdown drive where they're moving the ball again. And think about that was the interception. Think about how hard it looked to pick up those yards. Mm-hmm. Every yard seemed like it was like, oh my gosh, they gained yards. Congratulations.
It feels like every first down is like, it's like tooth and nail.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like
they barely get it, Jack.
It doesn't feel like the team's trying to score. It feels like the team is trying to get this first down, like you'll win the game, at the very end of a game. Like that is your goal, is to get that first down. But like scoring feels like something that is not even a goal of any of the plays.
Yeah.
Right? It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't
it's like
feel
pick
like
up
it
just
is.
pick up just a few yards, get just a few yards. Whereas Indiana's offense didn't look like that, and the good offenses don't look like that. There was a comment a couple moments ago, Mickey. They line up in a phone booth like Stanford and Michigan without any window dressing or ability to move people around. Easy to defend receivers who can't get separation over the top. Yeah, I think they want to be a certain type of offense, but they don't have the players to do it. Like you can't be so predictable if you are not A, insanely talented, and B, executing at a high level. They don't run good They don't run good routes. They don't block well enough. They're not creative enough. They keep running into guys like over and over and over. I'm so tired of watching this run game, man.
And then they since they can't get it downfield, they do this stuff around the edge, and they don't have good edge blockers. All of the edge blocking is a problem. From the wide receivers to Fedoni on that one play, he made up for it, though. The amount of edge blocking that you're missing when that has become, one of the only ways that you seem to be able to pick up chunk plays is incredibly problematic. Like, I don't know what this offense does well at this point, Josh. I can't think of
nothing. They don't do anything.
Like, I don't really want this. I seriously don't really want this, but like, this offense would be better if they put Heinrich Harburg in and did quarterback run game the whole time. Right now.
Do you really believe that?
Would they have a better game? They would have had a better game today. 100%.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, hard to imagine fewer than 7
I'm not
points,
saying,
right?
Don't get it twisted. I'm not asking.
No, I know what you're saying. I just like, if that's true, if there's like any modicum of truth to what you just said, like that's pretty gross.
That's what it felt. That's what today felt like to me. It feels disorganized. Don't know what to do. No open space. No field to work with. You don't even, there's just nothing available in the passing game. There's nothing. The amount of times he has to just check down, just quickly checks down to, whoever's there. It's incredible. It's so rough. It was completely rough. And, and again, the conversation goes, well, that eventually falls on the head of the offensive coordinator. And listen, I've never said, oh, he's great, they have to keep him. I've said, let me see the season. Let me see a few games here after. Yeah,
so Jack, it's so funny. I found myself defending him to some degree.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm defending him, and
yeah, and it's funny because I hated the hire, and I've never liked the hire, and I think that they should aim for somebody better than him. Like I have always felt that way. I have always felt that way. That the offensive coordinator was going to handcuff them, but in a way, I didn't think it would look. I didn't think it would look like this. I certainly overestimated the ability of a quarterback to make everything better. But he hasn't played as well the last few weeks. And He's not getting any help from his wide receivers, but I don't think he's getting any help from his play calling. I don't think he's not getting any help from his running game. And, you just wonder, like, okay, so what does that mean then moving forward? Because the offense is pulling teeth right now. I know that Rutgers lost today, but now in a way I'm like in awe that they got that win 2 weeks ago. It's like, wow, shout out to them for getting that win. Like they could be a team that is staring down the barrel at 4-4 right now. Without that dub.
I don't know. It's like you got this quarterback with a great arm and he throws it 40 plus times a game. And I can't think of one exciting pass play during that entire game. He threw it. I don't think 44 might not be right, but it's close.
It was close to 40. And dude, the yards per attempt is like bad for a running game. Like it was horrible. The yards per attempt.
It's never downfield.
It's never downfield.
There's nothing downfield.
Dude, the defense doesn't respect the offense, and so they stick to defenders back there. And they keep everything in front of them.
And there's pressure almost all the time, too.
And there's pressure all the time.
There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and he does a good job. Okay, nice pass to Fedoni in the first. Good call, Husker for MU. That was a nice
It was
play.
the old feathered over the top thing. He'll always be able to do that. Yeah, as long as they can catch somebody in some kind of a zone coverage where you can do that, that works. But I want to see him rear back and throw it hard, either short or long. Yeah,
Was it John who pointed out today the interception? What was the one where he stared down Fedoni and John said something like he's not even looking at the receivers, and you just wonder, like, does he want to throw it to the receivers right now? Does he trust that? Like, they continue. There was the pass interference that they got, but they continue. I hate how they fight through defensive backs. They don't fight. They just stop and they ask for the flag, and it's like, just go through the man. First of all, give yourself a chance to catch it and prove to the ref that they're grabbing at you. But they don't. They just kind of stop. And then the play, sometimes they're bailed out. They were bailed out a lot versus Rutgers because Rutgers was also bad. But today they got, I think, one pass interference. Otherwise, they didn't get those calls because they just kind of stop. So disappointing. Just so disappointing.
And I still can't believe that eventually at some point you don't have Nair getting a jump ball 60 yards down the field. How has that never happened this year?
Yeah. Dude, and how about the fact that they do a reverse with him? Why him of all players?
Right. What happened? Couldn't block the edges on it.
Yeah, -7.
Couldn't block the edges on it.
Yeah. Husker for MU, wide receivers are soft as fuck. Man. Don't block, get balls ripped away, etc. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Do not like what we have seen from that group this year.
But again, it's every time we start getting into, well, this is the problem. This is the problem. Everything is the problem.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, we just spent 15 minutes talking about
the play calling's a problem. The running backs are calling. The lack of formations are a problem. The way Dylan Raiola is playing is a problem. I mean, on the offense, all of it is a problem.
Yeah,
the inability to run the ball is a problem. All contributing.
Well, let me ask you this then. We're 20-something minutes in. Is it then very silly? Is it silly to D-Lo? The special teams is great. Yeah, we haven't even talked about the freaking kickoff to start the game. Is it silly to do all this stuff in the granular instead of doing big picture stuff? Like, is it silly to do everything like we have done so far, where we are nitpicking play calling and receivers?
Yeah, we're going down we're going down the route that I didn't necessarily want to go down, but it's so hard not to go down it because we're all frustrated with what we saw. What I wanted to do, Josh, is like, outside of big changes, outside of this is what this program needs, and everybody knows what they need, which I don't know how y'all know it. Congratulations. I have no freaking idea what they need right now. I don't know how to fix anything at this point. I'm really excited so many people do, though. Hopefully we ask them. But like, what do you do about this? What just happened?
I look over and Georgia, a guy from Georgia has the ball and he's pointing it the other way. And now the little graphic switched over to Georgia football, and there's 25 seconds left in the first half. Oh, Lord.
I'm watching the replay now.
He got a fumble.
Another sack fumble. That's a second sack.
Good Lord.
Wait, Texas. Oh, there's the fumble. I was a play behind you. Hello.
Oh, man. Wow. Yikes.
Like, what can they even, obviously Ohio State. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know what we're going to talk about this week.
Oh, man, that's going to suck.
But you got to go get I hate that I have to say this. You got to find one more win.
Got to find a win. You can't. You could, Jack. They cannot.
I mean,
cannot,
for starters,
they,
you've got to find a win.
They cannot. They cannot lose out. They cannot.
Hey, I should check
lose
the APR
out.
ratings.
They cannot. They cannot lose out.
It's
that will be. For the record, I still think that they will find another win. Save me on UCLA getting the win over Rutgers. Congratulations. They can Jack, that'd be unforgivable. That would be unforgivable. And you want to talk like
but it's obviously it's obviously a possibility now.
That's the honeymoon is over because you were on one of those cruises where everyone got COVID. Like it's beyond it's the honeymoon over. It's oh my gosh, we already have to have marriage counseling. They cannot lose out.
So let's skip Ohio State. You got UCLA coming. That's your best chance. Okay. We'll be talking about this in a week. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you changing anything that you can change now? I mean, what are you going to do? Right.
I mean, what you're hoping for, I think, is that the defense gets to play a non-Ohio State, non-Indiana team in UCLA, and they're able to, put them in a phone booth and grind out a 13-10 win. I mean, really is what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Yep. Iowa it up, right?
They have to. They have to be Iowa. They have to do their best Iowa impression. That is how they get a dub.
Of the two sides, I have more faith that the defense could come back to looking back.
Because they won't play Indiana every week.
Today. That's not to dismiss today at all, by the way. That was blew my mind how bad that was. But I guess that's kind of it. That's what you're probably right, Josh. That's it. Is run ball control run. That's why I say 98% kidding, but do you just go to a ball control or at least use Harburg more to run the ball?
Yeah.
Like in all seriousness,
you just line him up next to Dylan?
No, as a quarterback, I hate the idea of lining him up next to Dylan. As a quarterback, and look, this is not me excited about this idea, by the way, thinking this is a cool, fun way to get the Nebraska guy in. But I can't think of too many other ways. People are demanding the running game, and I even see it in the YouTube chat. Who don't establish a run? Well, don't establish the run because they can't freaking run. They can. It's not because they don't call it enough.
Yeah. Joel Klein in the second half was like, they can't go away from their run game. What are you talking about, Joel? They can't run the football. They can't. You can't establish a run if you don't have a run game. It's impossible.
Well, and they still try too. There have been. I mean, if that's truly what needs to happen, if that's what needs to happen, I honestly think you got to try. You got to involve more quarterback run game because the halfback game isn't there. And I'm not saying bench Dylan, but I'm saying use it more, right? Yeah. It's not a punishment to Dylan, but I don't think it works as good when Dylan's on the field, right? I think we saw it today. I think it worked pretty good today. They did it. They did it today.
Well, Dylan was on the field, wasn't he?
Was he?
A wide receiver.
What? God, why did they do it? Well, I guess it didn't matter then on that.
Yeah.
It didn't
Which
hurt
is so
it,
funny
actually,
because when the idea of having a running quarterback is it's 11 on 11, but if you just spread out your quarterback who can't move to wide receiver, then it's still 10 on 11.
Right.
Right. It really is.
But I mean, man, Nebraska was 29 rushing attempts for 70 yards today.
Yeah.
So,
D'Lo says, why are we surprised we can't run? What made anyone think we could? No one thought they could run. Come on, D'Lo. Don't make straw man arguments.
Why are we doing straw man arguments? I'm so done with straw man
No one in here was like, we are the believers in
Nebraska's going to run it down the throats on everyone all the time.
Nobody
coming
believed
into
that.
the season?
You can say the run game was garbage.
I didn't think they were going to run it much.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they were going to pass all over the world, though. I thought there would be freaking bomb touchdowns every game. That you can get at me for saying wrong, but
There's a lot of things.
Get me on that one, but
we were definitely wrong about that.
So
to answer your question,
I'm just laughing at the chat. So why do we think it would be a good season?
Because I thought they'd throw the ball better.
I thought they'd be able to pass the ball. I thought they'd have a good defense, and I thought Indiana would not be, the 1971 Nebraska. I guess.
I feel like it's so easy. The defense, I did not see this regression coming versus good teams, and I thought that the receivers would be a whole lot better, like plain and simple. If the receivers are a little bit better and the defense is a little bit better, they don't lose to Illinois. So like that's, it doesn't change that they lose to Indiana. Maybe they don't lose by 1,000,000 points. But those are the things that I thought would be different. Instead, now the margin of error is so slim. And the game, there was a comment a few minutes ago. Let me see if I can find it. because it was about the UCLA game. Oh, it's Alex. We're fine for now. If we lose to UCLA, then I'll be nervous about not making a bowl. That is, for the record, how I feel. I am not completely panicking at this moment in time. I think next week is going to be gross.
If they lose to UCLA, I'll panic. Yes.
Yes. So that's the season right now.
Yes.
Yeah. The season is now in 2 weeks. When they will go into that game at 5-3, and if they're able to get a win, at the very least, you don't have to freak out in the final 3 games. If they lose, oh man, because then Jack, they have another off week. So that would mean 3 straight losses and an off week, and then the trip to USC. Man, bad vibes for the next month if that's the case. Very, very, very bad.
We're gonna have some fun jobs those week. Listen,
very bad vibes.
It's still better than the coal miners and those sorts of things.
That's true. I'd rather talk about Nebraska football on the internet.
I always got to put that disclaimer. It was sports radio guys complaining. Not whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, some people in here are saying, "Hey, we do this for free, you idiots. We're paying you to do this, so give us our damn content."
Exactly. Fair enough. Fair enough. Can we go? Okay, let's go to the deep. Okay, sorry, I got to go back to just the individual, all the things we saw during the game.
Okay, we'll do big picture. We promise that we're going to do big picture at some point.
Nothing blew my mind as much as how bad the defense was, especially after. So the first drive. Josh, there was a missed tackle, and I'm trying to remember the play in the backfield. I think it was on a third down. In Nebraska.
The one where they gained 1,000,000 yards?
And they ended up getting like a 40-yard run on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was horrible.
There was a missed tackle. I don't remember who it was in the backfield. They got like 40 yards. They were about to make him punt on that play. They had the guy there. They missed the freaking tackle. They go in and score, right? Then the next drive, Indiana goes down. Nebraska calls that blitz. The blitz lands. MJ Sherman destroys him, and you're like, there it is, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And I think you already said this earlier in the pod, but you're just like, okay, that now it's going to get back to normal.
You can calm the hell down.
Right. And it never did. Everything they did. Man, Josh, you know what I felt? I felt jealousy during that game. You know what I was jealous of? The wide ass open receivers that Rourke had to throw to on every play. You could see it. They would give him cushion coverage, right? And they would take, if they gave him a cushion coverage, they take advantage of that. But other places on the field, like he has got, that's why it feels like they were playing with one more player than Nebraska was, because there were people all over the freaking field on Nebraska's side. So there were, and then, the running game. First of all, Indiana's running game. I mean, credit that running back. Like he is a good running back. He's not going to win the Heisman. I mean, and they have a couple of guys, but I'm talking about let's see, I want to get his name right at least to mention it. Ellison, right?
Yep.
Ellison. That dude looks like he got shot out of a cannon when he goes through the
33
middle.
carries, 215 yards. 6.5 yards a carry. Here, their top 4 guys average,
which is
11.7,
like their average.
8.0, 5.5, and 10.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The running game was working. Wow. The pass, when there was a pass rush, Josh, they get a hand on him and not sack him. God, the almost sacks were there. Again, the tackling was back to bad this week, right? There were several costly missed tackles. They were just on their heels. Outside of that MJ Sherman play, they were on their heels. It felt like the entire game against that offense.
Yep. Yeah, that was the one play where it seemed like Nebraska was going downhill. Again, the group that we thought would be the reason that Nebraska's defense was good, the defensive line, didn't have it. They did not have any pressure. They did not have any push. And man, he had so much time. So disappointing. You want to talk about things that we're surprised by. We said it earlier. The wide receivers maybe not being as good. Some people, I guess, are surprised by the run game. I haven't met any of these people. Everybody saw this coming. I am blown away at the defensive line. Blown away.
In this game, yeah.
Blown away. Now, this is now the 2 best teams Nebraska's played, Indiana and Illinois. Those guys were non-existent. And, man, that genuinely stuns me because, again, not to do too big picture, not to look too far ahead. These guys are old. what's next year going to look like? You know, like that's pretty scary to think about. So that bummer, real big bummer.
Yep. Yeah. Man, I thought they were going to handle this offensive line. I really did. I was wrong. Obviously, I was dead wrong about it. I thought this defense was going to. I thought they would be disruptive enough up front and good enough in coverage and tough enough against the run that it was going to make the day difficult for Rourke, and it looked anything like that.
Yeah.
And just the freaking crazy thing is, like, man, can you imagine if you knew before the game that Rourke was going to be out for the second half of the game?
For the whole half?
And
it didn't matter.
I swear they might have tried to figure out a way to play him. But anyway, he probably
if the game is one score, I bet he plays.
I mean, he did throw one deep downfield and almost got it into that double coverage deep throw that he had. That was after it was just an incompletion.
Oh, okay.
Malcolm Hartzog broke it up. He kind of had a hand around the back of the guy's neck, but
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah,
but Rourke threw that. It was a good throw. So I was like, when he did that, I was like, oh crap. Well, he can throw, you know. So,
yeah.
But yeah, he wasn't even in, and the other guy looked fine too. I mean,
yeah. By the way, Michigan State just scored a touchdown, so they're going to go up.
Oh, somebody watched. I got the screen limit message on my.
Oh, really?
My son must be watching up on his phone.
I'm watching it on Peacock.
What's it on?
I'm watching it on the Peacock app.
I can do that. I have Peacock.
You have Peacock.
I can do that.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what? What a great
Jack
idea
Mitchell
for me to
Peacock.
Man, yeah, Jack Mitchell here for Peacock. When your family hogs up all the YouTube TV screens, there's Peacock.
Yep. By the way, he scored in the same end zone that Jamal Turner had the touchdown in 2012. So, for anyone who wants any good memories.
So it's 19-0?
No, 19-7.
Oh, 19-7.
Yeah, Iowa scored on their last drive.
Okay. All right, I got it back on now. Oh, Childs. Okay. Well, that's fun at least. That's fun. It's a fun.
Dude, you want to talk about things that surprised me today? I thought I was going to whoop their asses. I didn't see this coming. Holy crap.
Okay. Let's try again to refocus the conversation just real quick on what the crap happens the rest of this year. But the defense they've got to figure out the defense to be able to, to be able to not have these games get ugly. And they've done it before. Again, every game, a team doesn't just go like this, Josh, and go from competitive with everyone, whatever the level of schedule strength they had, to just absolutely don't show up in any way possible. It doesn't I mean, what in the world?
Let me throw something out at you then, because D'Lo says it. Guys, Indiana's going to the playoff. Is there a world where we could be glass half full and say they lost by 49 to a playoff
I
team?
hope he's right. I mean, honestly, I hope he's right. I feel like that we're going to see there. I mean, it didn't happen today, and as I said, it might not happen against Nebraska.
Can you tell me real quick, why do you still feel this way about them after watching him?
I laid it out like in the entire we can just listen to the last podcast. We don't need to do that again. I laid it out in detail with
I know, but then we watched them and they're better than their previous years.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I feel a little bit less that way today now, but I still I mean,
all right.
I also
have
think
you seen
Nebraska,
their schedule? Jack, go look at their schedule again.
Yeah, we don't need to do the show again on Indiana. God, so many Nebraska fans are so passionate about making sure everyone knows Indiana is super good.
Jack,
it's not just you. I'm not even talking to you. Like, that is a thing. I've seen so many scoldy tweets in the last 12 hours. Nebraska fans, there you go. You knew you were playing a good team and you didn't respect them.
Let's lay them out. In one world, I am right, and Indiana is good, and you lost by 49 to a playoff team.
I hope you're right.
No, just let me finish. All right, that's a bummer you lost by 49, but at least it was a playoff team. Or there's the world where you're right and you lost by 49 to a 9-3 team. Like, why is that the world that you supposedly want to live in or think that you're living in? Why is that the better world? Why would you want to lose by 49 to a team that's solid instead of a playoff team?
I don't want that. I'm telling you what I think will happen. Why is everyone so hung up on this?
Because I also told they're like a good team.
Josh, let me remind you of this summer when everyone was going gaga over Rutgers, and I expressed a little bit of skepticism that might not be merited. And then Jack hates every team. He thinks every single team.
Well, yeah, but then we watched the teams play,
and then we watch them. Yeah, well, they looked good people were still saying that 3 weeks into the season.
I know. I'm talking about Indiana right now. Indiana's looked good for 7 games. They've kicked the shit out of everybody they played.
I hope, Josh, again, I hope you're right. Maybe you're
This
right.
is so
Maybe
weird.
they're
Weirdest
going to
bit. Weirdest bit yet. This
It's
is
not
the
a
weirdest one.
bit. I think it's college football every week. Texas is going to lose by 50 to Georgia. Josh,
Well, Georgia's good,
India,
though.
it just is college football. I'm sorry. It's not. There may not even be any reason to it, but you haven't watched this season. If you can reasonably explain the result every week, that's just out of nowhere. That happens constantly. I think Indiana's got it's gone their way for a while. It's not going to go their way. I don't know who it's going to be against. Washington, whomever. I think they're going to have at 2 losses. That's it. If I'm wrong, I'm not I don't have.
They can still make the playoff, by the way, with 2 losses.
Okay, well, then if they make it for 2 losses, I will cede that. I don't know if that'll happen or not, though, with their schedule, to be honest. So, and
That's
we
fair.
also look deep into the possibility of 2 lost teams going into the playoff in the last podcast as well. So check that out, which I told you might be glad we talked about it.
Yeah, that was fun.
That
was fun. Yeah, check out.
Hold on. Oh God, I wasn't gonna do this. No, he's trolling. Screw it. You're not listening to me. You're trolling. You want to be on. I'm not gonna talk to you. Enjoy that. You know what?
Are you closing the chat?
I just closed D'Lo. I just closed D'Lo's.
But the whole chat is in there. All of the chat is in there.
Josh, you've always told me on Discord when things are making me angry, it's a good thing.
I do say log off.
Away. It's just
I do say log. So you're gonna read the YouTube chat now? Or you can check out the YouTube chat now? What's going on over there?
You can just read them to me. Read them.
All right, I'll read them.
I'll read them. Hold on. Oh God, now it's switched monitors. That was a bad choice.
You still look good. You still look normal over here for me.
Okay, good. I can't see.
Caleb says Jack didn't look at the chat 99% of the time anyway. LOL. Uh-oh. Did Jack just disappear on me? Oh, good Lord. Unreal. One of our largest audiences ever, and Jack is gone now. This is going to be a tire fire as it takes him probably forever to hop back in here. I formation. Jack, don't close us. Alex, how's the internet? This is amazing. And now it's probably D'Lo. Sorry, guys. My bad. D'Lo, you triggered him to the point where now he's being an old man and he has disappeared. Matt, by the way, who is commenting over on the YouTube page to try to help out the algorithm, says, come on, everyone, like and subscribe to make Jack come back. All right, I'm going to have to text him, see where the hell he went. Jack, where did you go? You go. All right, we'll see if we can get him back here. Husker from you. Let's talk special teams. It is wild that we are this far into the podcast and we have not talked about the kickoff that began the game. And like in the end, I was thinking about it on my way home. Like I said, I watched the game at a buddy's house. And on my way home, nope, there he is.
Sorry, I was talking that entire time back thinking I was in. So.
Yeah, you were disconnected the whole time.
When I switched, whatever. It's fine.
Hey, people wanted us to talk about special teams. Do you have any special teams?
I like it. I like what they're doing. There's a lot of good things going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been the third worst side of the ball today, Josh, if I'm being totally honest.
Ooh. Well, yeah, because they barely seem to be involved.
I mean, they didn't have a lot of plays, and yes, they did kind of screw up the ones that they were in. Starting with the
one that they started the game with was unreal. And I know what they were doing, Adam, because Adam says, do they practice anything? I know what they were trying to do. If you catch a kickoff and a foot is out of bounds, you get the ball at the 40. You have great field position.
Okay.
But you can't catch it and then run. That makes a little
more sense.
Yes, that's the rule. That's the rule. You can't catch it and run out of bounds. That is bad. That is bad. Don't do that. And again, like Jack, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. But the Rutgers second half, like there was this part of me that was like, yeah, the offense was really horrible. But they also never had good field position. They were always at the 2 or 3 yard line. And then it's like, are you serious? You're going to start this game after that one at the 2 yard line again?
I promise Nebraska leads the nation in the last decade at drives started within their own 5.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal.
It's so freaking many times. Many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this like. In all seriousness, that was bad. Then they put Emmett Johnson in, and he let one bounce once on a kickoff return.
Well, multiple kickoffs were bouncing.
I mean, Indiana basically didn't punt. Right, Nebraska went for it on most fourth downs. The punts, one punt was good, one punt was terrible.
Indiana, I think, had one punt, and that was late. Right?
Yeah, I did.
Super late.
I might not have even seen it. I was so checked out by that point. Nebraska punted. They had one punt that was okay, and then one that went out of bounds and was crappy. Buschini had 3 for 123, 41-yard average. One went 52. There's one good one medium, one bad one.
Yeah,
so
it was fine.
I mean, like, so I actually don't have a lot to say about special teams. It was they minimized the catastrophic plays from special teams, I guess. So there's that.
Yeah,
that was kind of my goal in this thing. Like what else do people want to hear about that? I don't even know what to say.
No, it was I was just trying to fill time while you were getting your stuff.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Should we go big picture? Let's go big picture. I feel like
who's everybody want to fire? Give me the list. Just give me the list.
I mean, I almost want to start with those questions that we kind of began the pod with, and that is the honeymoon over and is the program regressing? Because I feel like, that those are the questions that and now people are naming people to get fired.
People love that. They love it.
Well, yeah. I know. And of all the things you love, this is not one of the things you love. And so, apologies.
One of these times when you guys do it, could we have it fixed with your idea to fire someone? That'd be great. Then I'd be a lot more believing in it. The time that you're right and it works right afterwards, that's the time I'll start being excited about you.
When do you think it was when you got like anti-firing because it didn't turn
when
around?
Social media started and everyone wants to fire everyone after every play, so it drowns out some of the legit ones, to be honest. But yeah, you seen that Twitter account, Message Board Geniuses? Everyone looks like a psycho on it because they overreact to fire someone on every time anything goes wrong. That's what it is. Does it mean every time someone wants that, it's wrong? No, but the vast majority of it.
So let's have that discussion then about what we see with the current staff right now. And because here's how I've been thinking about it. It's not fire this coach because they need an upgrade, though I'm certainly happy to have that discussion. My concern, Jack, is I believe that there are coaches that if they return, and like Ed Foley is the easiest example for this, that Matt Rule will lose trust in people and that is going to put him behind the 8 ball going into year 3 in a way that I think would be detrimental to the program. Ed Foley cannot be involved with the program anymore. Like, I think that is obvious, and it's not going to happen now. I know that. So when I say all of these names, if I bring somebody up, do know that I'm talking postseason. But Ed Foley and the special teams, Jack, via all the metrics, it is the worst in the country or one of the worst in the country. I don't think that you can say you care about all the details and all the granular stuff and bring back your special teams coach. Yeah. For the record, I actually think that this is going to happen. I don't think Ed Foley is going to be special teams.
No, there's no way he can keep him, right?
No.
Maybe they'll reassign him or something. That could happen, I suppose. Yeah. But no, they've got to make a change there. Yeah, 100%.
So here's so I'm not going to say, I don't even know if I'm going to say to fire anybody else, but I will say this. I was someone who very much thought that the Garrett McGuire hire was cool and inspired, and I don't think that he has given me any reason to believe in the wide receiver room through 19 games.
No.
I have nothing positive to say about the receiver room.
If I have been, and I probably have been, if they cleared out and went another direction at the end of the year with the entire offense, it's not like I would be shedding a tear about it. I'm not at this point, I'm not married to it. It's just that the reasoning is so stupid. It drives me nuts. It's because Satterfield isn't running the ball enough. Well, that's what I hear. I'm fighting against just ridiculous reasoning. But if at the end of this year, and today helped, to be honest, if they went a different direction, a lot of places in Iowa or on offense, I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to be like, oh, darn.
That's why. No offense. And if I don't think I've seen anyone in our Discord saying fire Satterfield because they don't run the ball enough. So if somebody says that in the Discord,
well, not during this chat, no.
That's but on here on the I-80 Club, people want him fired because he doesn't run it enough in the I-80 Club. Because I'm about to say something about a fan that thinks that way, so I don't want to offend any of our subscribers. If you want to fire him because he doesn't run the ball enough, you're an idiot. That's not why you fire him. You fire him because the offense is not imaginative and it's not good enough. It's not because they don't run the ball enough.
Gosh,
so,
let's be honest. If I took a poll online why people want him fired, that'd be the number one reason.
I know, but people are idiots online. I didn't realize that was the reason that you didn't want to talk about firing people. Yeah, Jordan says it. Fire Sat because the offense flat out fucking sucks. If that's what you want to fire him for, it's running the ball. Who gives a shit? It's about results. And now
that was coming up 2 weeks ago, but that was also coming up 2 weeks ago before the offense looked like they did today, and 3 weeks ago.
But certainly I have a whole host of concerns about Garrett McGuire and the receiver room. This is, again, a different discussion that I don't mean to go down the road too far on, but The recruiting is not, what I was also hoping for.
100%.
Recruiting is not what I was hoping for.
So far, those wide receiver transfers, man, that's just crazy, Josh, because not only like you were high on them going into the year, I wasn't as much, but I saw the first couple of games of theirs, and then I was.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. We left the Illinois game, I think, feeling pretty good about the receivers and the offense.
What's happening? It is
I know.
like
I think it's too predictable.
Josh, it is like not sort of like backsliding or just playing worse opponents. It is big time regressing.
Yeah.
Honestly, you watch that UTEP game, the offense would be unrecognizable from what we just saw.
That'd be quite the exercise to let's all watch the UTEP game together right now and then just get mad that that's not what the offense is anymore.
That offense would be freaking unrecognizable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to some degree, the Colorado game too,
And so you asked the question, what has changed? I think, first of all, I mean, look, UTEP is ranked 100 and whatever in the country. So part of it was
obviously opponents.
That's not, I'm not trying to pick on you, but I'm just they got to go against UTEP. Now they're going against Big Ten teams, and they're going against Big Ten. Who has the best success against Nebraska so far? A 6-1 and a 7-0 football team.
Most of the Illinois game, then take that one even.
Yeah, that's true. I do think that teams know how to defend Nebraska. Again, Nebraska does not use motion. They got the book on us. They do not use motion enough, man. And that sounds like such an online football hipster film thing to say, but they don't do it. Watch good offenses in college. Watch good offenses in the pros. Why do they motion? They don't just do it for shits and giggles. They're not just let's move the wide receiver from the left side to the right side. No, it's about giving the defense a lot of stuff to have to diagnose in the moment, and then you hope to take advantage. It's why Indiana was able to get guys open all day long. Nebraska doesn't do that. The offense is predictable. They're putting the safeties back. They're keeping everything in front of them. I don't know if Dylan trusts the players. I don't know if he trusts his arm right now. Whatever it is, he doesn't look the same, and that's probably the growing pains that are going to come. But, and then, of course, there's no run game, and that's going to be a huge pain in the ass too. So it's all of that stuff. And I think, again, you're playing Big Ten teams. And next week they'll play Ohio State. USC's defense has improved this year. Wisconsin is Wisconsin. Iowa, oh my gosh, dude, that could be a horror show to see what that defense does versus this offense. Yeah. So it's just it's tough. It's tough.
I think the opponent strength is definitely a part of it. But again, I think I think Illinois, during that Illinois game, I think the first half of the Colorado game, and they had their issues, but they weren't a terrible, they're not it's not UTEP, I guess, when it comes to defense. And we were even having conversations just 3 weeks ago, Josh, that were they've got so many, I don't know if I was having it with you, but it was they've got so many different people that can be weapons on this offense. How do you even decide how to use them? Right after it looked like, Carter Nelson was doing some stuff. We would talk about that. And you're and then you had Barney and you had the wide receivers, right? When they looked like that, you had that. And then today it was I can't think of one person other than Fedoni who they can get the ball to and actually have some kind of success with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not great.
Yeah.
So
it's changed. I mean, I still believe it is. And I think maybe as good of a theory on anything is, Josh, like you said, that the teams have kind of gotten the book on Nebraska's offense now that they've seen Raiola and how it works. Maybe that's it,
Yeah.
But there's not any huge personnel changes. It's a little shuffling along the offensive line, but that's not really been it. There's just I can't explain it.
Well, it's funny because D'Lo brings up shutouts and halves across 4 of the 7 games. This didn't just show up today. Man, did we overlook because we tried to use the second half of Colorado as this they had all the emotions, it makes sense. But man, you do wonder if that is just a weird sign of things to come. They have the first half versus Purdue, they had the second half versus Rutgers. I
said Purdue was it started it. Yeah, I mean, there was obviously I had concern.
But they've had signs the signs go back.
I would not the Colorado second half. I'm not.
You don't want to put that in that same.
I didn't love it at the time, but
it is different because that was more on penalties.
I mean, you were the one who made the good point that you said that you thought they were intentionally, basically just killing clock and being.
Oh yeah, I mean
they were just being anti-turnover. Yeah. During that time. So I don't. Starting with the Purdue game, they had some problems, but no, let's quit I'm just having a conversation with one person again. Never mind. Go ahead.
Say what you want to say.
No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to respond to No. It's not a good question, so it doesn't deserve an answer.
Don't slam your computer again. Please don't slam your computer.
I'm not going to. Look, we don't need a straw man again that that everyone should have known this, from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It was very obviously they suck. Why do we I mean, the offense looked why would you think after those first 2 games anything other than this is going to be an exciting offense?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You're not going to be like, yeah. So whatever. I mean, everyone was doing it about Dylan. Every single person was doing it about Dylan. About just saying, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. What the offense is going to be able to do with him. It's going to change the offense. It's going to be, everybody was saying that. Everybody had faith in Dylan, revolutionizing the offense and continuing to have the success that he did in that first game, I think. So, because it went on for 4 games.
Hey, did you watch the Matt Rule presser?
I listened to it, yeah.
Skurzo4 says Rule's presser was concerning. Deer in the headlights look and already apologizing to the fans. What did you think about the Matt Rule presser?
I thought it was like I can't remember what his exact words were, but he was like, I didn't expect this, or I wasn't ready for this, or something like that. Like,
he was totally shocked.
He didn't have answers.
Yeah.
Like he really, which I don't know how you have answers exactly. I guess you just kind of say what happened at that point. But
yeah, I'll say I'm not going to use what the coach was surprised as like an indictment against him. What do you want him to say? Yeah, I thought we were going to get our asses whooped today. Like,
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah, but like the vibe. I mean, the vibe came off like they were way better than we thought they were going to be.
I thought, yeah, so that is.
You'll see all the scolders on Twitter telling him he should have known that.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I got.
Yeah, you do want Jack. I don't think you and I talked about this during the week. I asked a couple of guests on my show this question, so I'll ask this to you. Do you think, and it's going to be a weirder question now because another game is in the books, Matt Rule doesn't really like this team as much as he did a month ago, does he? Like, remember how he was talking about him a month ago? That guy was a believer, and now, and it makes sense. Again, they just got beat by 49 points, but I noticed it going into this game. Like, I don't think he trusts this team as much as he trusted them a month ago.
Yeah, I mean,
and I wonder why that's the case.
I don't know. I mean, do you mean after this game?
No, I was asking you this question last week.
Oh, last week. Sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah. And now,
I don't know. I haven't thought. I can't. I guess it's hard
because I watch every presser. I listen to every presser. There was just something about the ones this last week where I was like, I don't know if he is in on this team as much. And like,
but why? Again, what changed?
What changed? It's an excellent question.
It's again, yes, they didn't look. I can't believe some people are sort of acting like you kind of should have seen this coming.
Well,
I disagree with that.
So and I made this comparison at some point in the last month, and I don't think I did it in here, but expecting Nebraska to fail, no matter what the evidence is like betting with the house at the casino. You're probably going to be right. The last, if at any point since 2015, or really since 2017, if you said, no way, I'm not buying this, I'm not buying them turning it around, you are wrong. No matter what, you are always right about it. And so there are some people who, for many years now, they're going to need to see it. They will never buy into this team, no matter if they're beating Colorado 28-0 after a half, no matter if they're winning their first game 40-7. But it's betting with the house, and the house always wins. That opinion has always won over the last decade, sadly.
Yeah. Well, I want to find the person who called this, 40+ point defeat on Thursday, right? It was shocking. Now, I picked them to win, but I certainly thought there was a possibility they wouldn't win. My level of confidence on picking them was, it was 51-49 basically, in terms of who I thought was going to win this game. But I just couldn't have ever fathomed a performance. And Josh, let's say one thing that we haven't either yet to this point. We've gotten into the beginning of the game and the problems at the beginning of the game. But when it looked like that game was over, it looked like the effort went down.
It went way down. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I don't know what to.
Yeah, I just agree with Matt. He said he didn't think they quit. I could not disagree more. I thought the defense had a couple of drives in the second half where they just did not look like they wanted to be out there.
I don't know. I feel like if there was, I don't know. I hate to say that, Josh. I do.
Yeah.
But Indiana was just running the backups running roughshod over everyone. That everybody was deflated. They were shocked. And you know what, Josh? Here's an interesting point. I was dead wrong about my analysis of the sort of the mental game, the motivational game coming into this. Right? Remember, I said I like the spot Nebraska's in for this. You know, they're kind of the underdog.
Everyone's talking about Indiana.
Indiana's going to be smelling their own farts. It's good. They're going to be really good. Indiana came in with a freaking chip on their shoulder right off the bat.
They did.
Cignetti had a chip on his shoulder in his interviews about this game. They came in like Nebraska disrespected them. Why can't Nebraska ever treat it? They did it with Colorado, finally.
Yeah, they did.
They got motivated in the game. They finally did it. They can't ever do it against anyone in the Big Ten. They can't do it.
Yep. And you know, hey,
Indiana
Jack,
comes in. Every other team comes in like Nebraska kicked their cat, you know?
Yeah. Wow, that's good. You're right. And hey, you know what's going to happen? Now, Ohio State's different, but they're following a law, so they're going to be ready to go because they're just going to want to get the bad taste out of their mouth. I have no takes on USC or UCLA, but you know what? I know Wisconsin takes things personal against Nebraska, and I know Iowa does. So, like, you better match it. Like, I don't think they'll lose to Wisconsin 56-7. But you don't want – I mean, like, dude, that game today was embarrassing. It's one thing to lose. It's another to get embarrassed. That was an embarrassing performance.
You know, they did the thing that I could – there was some conversation in the Cignetti press conference about, you know, now people were saying we have a soft schedule. Did that look like do we have a soft schedule? I don't know that he was saying someone on Nebraska said that, but he felt like he believed that he had made himself believe that, right? That Nebraska was saying their schedule was soft, and Nebraska was disrespecting who they were. Yeah. Like he built that feeling up in there.
Hey,
he did.
Hey, you know what?
And it's worked like a charm. He is motivational.
Everyone was saying it about Indiana this week. National pods, local stuff. Obviously, everyone was saying who they beaten. They beat nobody. Right. And so, like, if you use that, if you take that and say, you know.
It wasn't like Matt Rule said it, but he kind of acted like he did.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, certainly. That's what coaches do, right? They take perceived slights and they turn them into the weirdest shit, and here you are winning by 49 and you're angry about it.
And those guys looked like someone who had a perceived slight in that game.
Yeah. Jordan, still haven't beaten anyone, by the way. Yeah, I've seen that joke many, many times today. I'd be like, yeah, but they still haven't played anybody. Yeah, and you know what?
Which is kind of my point when I say I didn't think they were going to end up in the playoffs. So
that's fine. I'm buying in. I think they're awesome. I think they're really good, and I think this is a goofy season. And I have come now. If Rourke is hurt, that's going to change some things because I don't think they can. Yeah,
it's just
that's weird. That's weird. That's weird though. Yeah. Furl says 18 Nebraska.
They glued it together and they taped it, and I mean it'll heal. It's just a cut.
So. Yeah.
I mean maybe they
throwing a football with a cut thumb. That doesn't sound very fun.
Well, it's probably just the Band-Aid that bothered him mostly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess.
I don't know. Putting pressure on a football with a cut. That I don't know. You know, but I don't throw a football 50 yards.
Okay, so, well, that's of all the bodily pain you can have, that feels like pretty.
Yes, I'd probably rather
that's not childbirth, right?
Yeah. I can't speak to that.
Where is it on a pain to Curtis Rourke's thumb gripping a football to childbirth? That's your pain.
Yeah,
that's what hospitals should adopt now. They'll just have a chart, right?
It's Curtis not the angry face.
Curtis, throwing another 50-yard pass with his bloody thumb, and then childbirth on the other side. You just pull it then.
I did want to read this. Furl says, I hate seeing Nebraska be a laughing stock to the country. Drives me crazy. Hey, folks, don't worry. Next week's game is not on national tel. Oh, no. Big noon again.
And Josh, let me add to the other thing I hate. Being in a blowout game your team is losing when Gus Johnson is calling it.
Oh, man.
It is hell. If you were making a hell of college football, that's what it is. You're in a never-ending game where you're down by 77 points perpetually, and Gus Johnson is calling the second half of that game.
Yeah, not good. I got a tweet. I think this is as we're in the pod right now, but Todd says, can you talk about the psyche of this team? Jack, any psyche of the team takes coming out of this game?
Well, we were getting into it at a micro level with that game.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the psyche. I mean, like, I do think that they played less than I would hope in the second half. Next week's going to be hard, and so in a way, I am ultra curious to see how they come out versus UCLA. Jordan says it might cost them the UCLA game. Yeah, I mean, they're going to go into that game with a 2-game losing streak. And, like, what's the crowd going to be like?
What if you stack blowouts? What if you stack blowouts? Yeah, with the Ohio State.
Yeah, Think about it. They lost by more today than they did to Michigan last year.
But you gotta do what a whole bunch of other teams have done this year, gone from terrible to really good or really good to terrible. Yeah. Right? You got to be able to figure out how to do that. But man, that is going to be a weird atmosphere, Josh, that game, Yeah. It's going to feel so much like those late games last year. So much. It's going to feel exactly like that. And I know there's still 3 left after that, but as you said, if they don't get that one, that's when it's going to feel like 5 wins is a real possibility.
If they lose that and they're 5-4 going into the off week, oh my gosh, it's going to be hell. It is going to be horrible around here. It's going to be Jack. It's going to be horrible.
And here's the thing: what do people do when you're not firing the head coach? Okay, they're not firing him. Okay,
no, yeah,
and I'm not saying anybody's asking, but like, what do we even do when we still got 5 games left and you've just been in 2 blows? Like, what are we even talking about at this point? Because everybody wants to, talk about the changes they need to make on the coaching staff, but like,
Jack, that's a good question.
That might happen, but not now,
Yeah, because I got let me find it real fast. I got a tweet earlier today from a listener of the show that basically said, okay, here it was from Scott. Rule isn't going to get anything done here. And this can lead into to kind of some big picture stuff in the last half hour. Rule isn't going to get anything done here. Pretty clear at this point. Absolutely no progress, probably even a good argument for aggression. Firings need to happen. So, like, I don't think that it is pretty clear that he will be unable to get it done. I don't believe that. But if that is how people start feeling, like, I don't know, man. It's I've just seen this place turn on coaches, I know what that kind of leads to.
The thing about this game that was so unfortunate for the perception of Rule is that he's known for this 3-year build, right? Mm-hmm. The 3-year build from terrible. Well, this next, it's like the part in what's the movie? I can't think of the movie. Oh, Something About Mary. When the guy he's like 9-minute abs, man. 9-minute abs. It's the best thing. And then you know what happened? This guy came along with 8-minute abs. And I went like Matt Rule, 3-year plan, baby. It's the best thing ever. 3-year plan from a losing team and then Kurt Cignetti walks in and he's like 8-minute abs. 1-year plan. 1-month plan. Jack, and I'm gonna have people on the I-80 club say your team's going to the playoff. Can you even imagine that? Can you even imagine that with our slow build talk for every coach we've had?
And Jack, think about it. This discussion is coming from the head man himself. He says this. This is what you get with me. With me, you get a process that takes time. What did Sig say when he got there? Google me.
We're winning.
Yeah. And so I am not going to sit here and I'm not going to tell any of our lovely, beautiful, the most beautiful subscribers. I'm not going to tell anyone here watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe, please. I'm not going to tell any of you to have patience. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to tell you to have patience. The head coach is, so you're going to hear it from somebody, but Indiana, their coach isn't believing in that. He wants to show up and he wants to win right away. And could this result in them taking a massive step back next year? Sure. Of course it could. But they're having fun right now. And that's all that matters. And so, I understand that today, for so many years, Jack, we've said it's not that they lost, it's how they lost. And that was used to describe they shitted, the dumb end of game situation.
Close game, yeah.
Today, it's not that they lost, it's who they lost to. And it's a team in year one that already looks like they have, they're not just on your level, they have surpassed you, and they are that you are now looking at the backside of Indiana, and you're 19 games into your era, and you're like, but I want to be where they are. I'm not going to tell anybody that they shouldn't feel a certain way about that. I get.
Or did the game change? This sounds so dumb. Did the game in the way that you can start a team now with bringing your own players along change between when Rule was hired and when Cignetti was hired? I guess Rule came from the NFL, so it wouldn't have mattered. But I'm trying to think about the Cignetti thing, and this is not me saying he's not a good coach, but I want to know, he obviously did something else besides being a good coach in the way that he built this team. And I'm talking about with the personnel, how many he brought with him, where he got transfers from, because it's not like he grabbed a bunch of 5 stars, right? Again,
Correct.
out of high school or even in the transfer portal for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm so curious about how and why this is working so well. And maybe a part of it is easy schedule, and Nebraska should be included in that. But what he's doing is still, to get back to what I said on Wednesday, it's incredible. It's almost, unprecedented. I think something's different about building a team and bringing those guys with you. I think it is from James Madison.
Jack, one of the things
it's like having a year. Yeah.
That I know I've wondered about since Matt Rule got hired is like his style of winning in college football, even though his last year in college football before Nebraska was 2019, so it's only 5 years ago. It might as well be a different universe. The portal was in its infancy. There was no name, image, likeness. You couldn't transfer freely without asking for a waiver. It was a different time in college football. Like I've wondered, like, is this way of building, can it work? Can it succeed? What you are asking, like, is he like? There was a comment a couple moments ago from Adam. In retrospect, I think the staff should have been pushing guys to transfer after year one. Having nobody move out is some sort of flag. Like, it's interesting. Does his, and this is, maybe you'll scoff at this question too, is his like belief in family like to a fault? Is his belief in we don't want to bring in a ton of players and make people feel uneasy? Like, is that actually a bad thing?
He did bring in a bunch of, he brought in
not as many as Signetti, not as many as Deion Sanders.
Oh, you mean when do you mean
either
after
just
year
one or before? Like either or, both.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't see that as a huge issue because he's bringing in guys. He brought in the top running back, top 2 wide receivers, and the top second best cornerback or top cornerback who's playing regularly now. He brought in all of those.
Yeah.
And he brought in the Syracuse linebacker who he thought might be a starter as well.
Yeah.
So
we're off on him.
Right. But like, I just don't quite buy that like it's his reluctance to delve into the transfer portal. It's not a Dabo Sweeney adjacent situation whatsoever, I think, with him.
No,
I think he likes to, but he does. But you're to your point though. I think what your point really was, is that you talked about family, but he has often talked about wanting to build from within. Right? It's like relying on your farm system instead of getting the free agent at the end of the baseball season, and so that brings up the question that was a really interesting one that someone asked earlier. What do we think Signetti's years 2, 3, 4, 5 look compared to Rule's 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever 2, 3, 4 versus 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, that's
a good question. I don't know. Is Indiana going to out recruit Nebraska now? Probably not. I don't know.
Probably not on paper. So a couple comments. Husker from you says the losing is still in the walls because the losers are still there. That's harsh as shit, but it's true. D'Lo says first 2 years of Frost, we said the issue was leftover Riley guys. Rinse and repeat, same shit. I will be honest. I had not seen the Nebraska has the loser Frost mentality pop up until today. I had not. I don't think you and I have mentioned that at any point all season long. And so I feel like that's a bit of a convenient excuse, especially when the roster was going to be built on a lot of the older players anyway. If you rank the best / most important players on the roster, you're going to have a lot of Frost holdovers that are going to be there. Whether or not they've been losers in their career at Nebraska, it is what it is. But I don't know. I definitely disagree with that. We never talk about that. We never say, it's the mentality.
And again,
I just think the program's bad.
Again, most of your a ton of your main contributors are newcomers too, right?
Yeah.
Your quarterback, your running back, your wide receivers. How's that for starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least one offensive lineman. So, I guess that's more true on the defense, but I almost think of most of those guys as like Tony White guys now,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we viewed it as a positive in the preseason. Wow, look at all these seniors. Now it's a negative because they've never made a bowl game. Again, I understand it. Today was not because today they didn't lose like they have lost recently. Today was not about, they don't know how to do it. No, today they got their asses whooped by a better team. They got their asses whooped by, dare I say, a better program, which I know is hard to swallow, but it's true.
Yeah.
Certainly Indiana's a better team. And they outcoached Nebraska. They out-executed Nebraska. They did everything better than Nebraska today. Everything. Every single thing they did was better.
Yeah. Outside of changing out coaches, obviously, what else do you do going in? It's a lot more interesting conversation to me because there's more depth to it. What else do you do next year? What do you put around Dylan? Right?
Yeah.
What kind of, if you change your offense, what kind of an offensive coordinator do you bring in? Right?
Do you bring if I were look, I'm not gonna tell you some great OC to bring in. I don't have names.
What is it? What is the style?
I would say, can you bring in somebody that can bring some guys with? Like that's super important to me. Bring it, but like Jack, one of the things that I thought going into next year that they were going to be able to sell was like, look at Dylan Raiola. Look at this guy.
Away, isn't it? It's slipping.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, his touchdown interception ratio now is horrible. It's not even very good anymore, and it's not. The offense isn't exciting. So, like, if you want to bring in players that want to be a part of this offense, you would have to make a change because you would have to preach the offense will be better. We can get you to the NFL. They can't say that right now. And they can't say that they're going to win X amount of games because it seems like they're going to be stuck on 5 for a little bit.
And here's the thing. I wonder how much – because what do you think Rule's dream of an offensive scheme is? It's like a pro-style running offense, right?
Yeah.
Run for, kind of – I don't know what NFL team to compare it to, but it's a traditional tailback,
I feel like he wants to be like the Steelers, though. Like, I don't think he wants something like.
No, yes, that's a great. That's what I was thinking of. Yes.
I don't think he wants to be the 49ers. Like, the 49ers do cool shit.
This was my point. That's the team I was trying to think of.
Yeah, they don't want to be the 49ers,
right? That's what his. So that's
the Lions.
I believe that. Now he can say if I'm wrong. I get that sense from him. Okay, I get that sense that that's the style that he prefers when he coaches, and it's it's probably basically what he did at Carolina, right? He used McCaffrey in a different way than the 49ers did, to your point.
Yeah.
But the question that I've got is like, okay, well, you brought in an unbelievable passing quarterback now, right? You brought in an unbelievable. You have Dylan Raiola is here. Let's not mix it up. Dylan Raiola is here to pass the ball.
Yeah.
He is here primarily to pass the ball. And I think there's reluctance to really and maybe it's risk aversion because of turnovers, but man, there's really some reluctance, it feels like, to really, if it looked like there would be some deep shots that the Steelers would be taking, right? In that sort of a situation. They're not there. So I don't know. I wonder about that and how it impacts what offensive coordinator he brings in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
If he does.
What his and Satterfield's conversations like the offense have been about the offensive end,
Yeah. And again, like what they're not doing. I'm just someone that loves football and I watch it every week, but I'm not some X's and O's mastermind. But I definitely know that I watch and I read enough about the sport to know that, making the defense try to figure out what is happening before the snap matters. And Nebraska doesn't do that stuff. And that's really, really difficult. Really, really difficult. And so if you can't do some of those things, you're just you're putting your hand behind your back and things are going to be really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Another big picture question or comment that does lead into kind of the thing, Jack, that I've been saving. Husker Frame U says it's admittedly hindsight, but I thought about it a lot today. He says and I think maybe we probably would have been better served with a house cleaning. We are so in between. Now, I don't know if he's talking about the whole staff or anything, but let me ask you this question. Is there a world where, because I am someone in the early era of every coach that I try to find the positives. For all of the Josh is a Frost hater, go back and listen to me in 2018. Go find those tapes. Go back and listen to me in the early part of 2019. You're going to hear someone that is really trying hard to find reasons to believe. I did the same thing with Mike Riley. I did the same thing with Bo Pelini. I'm doing the same thing with Matt Rule. I asked myself the question today of like, Are we making a lot of excuses yet again? And there are too many signs. And that is not asking, that is not making any declarative statements, and that is not saying it's time to put anyone on the hot seat. But I couldn't help but watch that game and think, I've seen this before. This is a huge red flag, and I should be viewing it as a red flag, and yet I am probably going to say it's only game 19, which I kind of have done tonight. I don't know. What do you think?
You never know it when it's happening, when the downfall. You never know when you're going through those points that you're going to reference at the firing and be like, oh, we should have saw it then.
Should have saw it then. 100%.
But yeah, I don't know.
One more thing before you answer. I saw this.
No,
today.
go ahead.
So this was game number 19 for Matt Rule at Nebraska. Game number 19 for Scott Frost was the Minnesota loss, the hoodie game, when they lost 35-7 or whatever it was.
It's like this, that was the first kind of chink in the armor, wasn't it?
That was, so for me, it was the Colorado game. The Minnesota game was the one that kind of confirmed, like, things are really, really, really not as good as I thought that they were. Today, Jack, if the Matt Rule era goes a way that we don't want it to go, today will be a large part of that story, man. A large, large, large part of that story. Because today was bad. And, like, dude, I went out of the 62-3 game saying, like, yeah, but. And I don't even think I've really done that tonight. I don't think I've defended anything tonight. It was a bad performance.
Oh, tonight.
Today was one of those.
I've got zero. Yeah, nobody's arguing anything went right today. Again, I'll say they went to Fedoni, and Fedoni, I thought, had a good game. Sierra Wright had a couple of good plays again. So, great job.
I guess the way I would describe it is this. Today was the first game in the Matt Rule era where I left it saying I don't know if I got this guy right. You know, maybe I was wrong. Today was the first time that I've really genuinely asked myself, are you sure that this is the guy? And I haven't asked that. I haven't asked myself that question yet.
Wow. Man, hope this isn't the moment. I hope this isn't the moment. I can't even, jeez. I don't even want to think about that way. I can't really think about it. I don't want to go through that again. I don't think they're close to it. I think
no, and they're not. They're not. All of that. They're not. They're not.
Well, I mean, but you see the comments, and it starts to be like, "Yep, we've identified the problem. Time for a change." Like we're all inching ever so closely to people coming out and starting to say that, which is insane. Like, I don't want to get back on that horse again, but that's completely insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
By the way, something really bad happened in the Texas game. It looks like there was a horrible call on Texas where they had intercepted it, and people are throwing beers on the field.
So I'm a little behind you, but the little montage.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That's so many beers.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
That's so many beers.
Right in front of Sarkisian too.
Oh my gosh, dude! That's like a 15-yard penalty on Texas, isn't it?
What was the ruling on that play? They say he was out. It looks like when Texas Tech used to throw tortillas on the field.
It's oranges in the 90s.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Do you remember how mad everyone got at the Colorado fans when they threw water bottles? They escorted them out of the stadium. This is way worse. Yeah. This is way worse. I kind of feel sorry.
Are they going to have to kick the student section? Is this the student section doing this right now?
Kick the whole Sarkisian. Oh, I'm behind you, so I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know. Sarkisian is like talking to the students.
Yeah.
He's begging them to stop.
Dude, there's going to be some amazing photos that come out of this.
Oh, there another one just fell by him.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa, and here comes a ton of security. You've already seen this.
I don't know. You might be ahead of me, Jack. Wow. Not great. Not great. So, yeah, Texas had an interception. They returned it like inside the 10-yard line.
What was
so they were going to be?
What was out of bounds or what?
No, they called a pass interference or a holding on Texas on the defensive backs.
Gotcha.
So, okay, they're about to show the replay if you haven't seen it yet. It's a horrible. So they must call it on this defensive back. Dude, it's the offensive player that hit him more than anything.
So it wasn't. So those guys were right into throw the beer all over the field. If you're telling me,
dude, Bill Moose somewhere is looking at his TV saying, "See,
I told you.
Yeah,
this is Memorial Stadium next year." They probably come in those aluminum cans so they fly in the air a little bit better than like a Mountain Dew bottle would.
Yeah. Wow.
A little more heft to them, if you will.
Wow. Not great. Not
Look
great
at college football. By the way, we are Michigan State 25-20 with the ball, running clock, driving it on that. Is Michigan State going to put up in the 30s on Iowa?
Oh yeah, Iowa just had a super long touchdown run.
That was good. That guy, they always have a huge run with that guy. It's weird to see a player with no one directly around him, or whatever. I'm not getting into that whole path again. Breaking tackles. Can someone break a tackle? Just a tackle.
Yeah. Dude, we didn't talk barely about the running backs tonight, but man, the run game is so bad. It is just atrocious. Not great, man. Not great.
I don't even. Sorry, the Texas game interrupted wherever we were, so I don't know exactly where we were here on this
Jordan.
point,
but anyways, if they don't make a bull, I'm calling for Rule to be let go. Jordan, you will not be alone.
I've already started that, Eddie. But anyhow,
wait, they reversed the call. What? So the fans throwing shit on the field worked.
It worked.
That's what.
Listen,
I want to see Kirby.
I will tell
so
you.
Apparently, if you throw stuff on the field, the refs will overturn the call.
That's good negotiation by those you start at a high spot there, right? Actually, it's more of a threat, I guess. That would be more like blackmail than a negotiation.
It's a form of protest, right? Protesters say, "See, this is what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get these things done as well."
Free speech. Now,
wow.
Okay.
Free speech. Now Kirby's like, "Hey, Georgia fans, start throwing shit on the field."
Yeah.
Oh man, that is hilarious. Oh, that is so good.
If I'd have known we could have been doing this the whole time to get bad calls turned around at Memorial Stadium,
right?
I would have been testifying in front of the regents every week.
Oh my gosh. Jason Kirk, Texas fans have seized the means of officiating. God, that's good. Okay, that's awesome. Really funny.
Oh,
wow, what a game.
College football, baby. It can still be fun.
It really can. It really can.
I didn't take this one too hard for some reason. I had the reverse situation in the Colorado game. In the Colorado game, the buzz of winning so much wore off during the second half. In this game, the white hot grief and shock was pretty much seared off by the time the second half ended. So I was all right.
Well, yeah, today, honestly, I think, Jack, the question that I just had posed to us is the one that's been on my mind throughout much of the day. And I think that's why I was less like angry and it was more shock and like, God, is this now? We are about to enter into a land of discourse that is not going to be enjoyable.
Having the Ohio State game next sucks.
It really blows.
I would trade any game out for the next game.
Yeah, seriously.
Because if you didn't stack this twice, like a 40-point loss twice in a row, I feel like it would do a whole lot of good right now for everyone.
Yeah, seriously. Have UCLA?
Perception.
UCLA? Yeah, it'd be really nice to have the UCLA game next. Really nice. Because you could say, hey, bounce back opportunity, get a dub. I didn't realize, by the way, Quinn Ewers was back on the field. I thought that it was still Arch Manning.
Okay.
Weird. I honestly have not been watching as much of this game as I would have liked, but oh well.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, do you expect them to look like that against Ohio State? I mean, I get it. Ohio State, they don't need to look like that to still lose, is what I'm saying.
No,
right?
They don't. Well, it's funny because, earlier this week on the Grum, I mentioned that I thought that Nebraska was going to lose to Ohio State by a similar score that Iowa did, and Iowa lost to them like 35-7, I think was the score in that game. I don't know if I really feel that way anymore. I just don't trust the defense as much, and I don't trust the offense to score. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe like 38-0. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be good. Is
Day going to pull off his starters faster than Signetti did?
Yes, definitely. I think he
Not
will.
that I'm whining about that, but Day will probably be more ready to give some guys some rest.
I wonder what the line will be on that game. I'm going to see if there's one
prediction time. Oh man, it'll be lower than you think.
Well, they had a look ahead last week. Do you know what the look ahead was?
No, I don't.
It was 24.5. Okay,
I was gonna guess 21.5 was what the look ahead would have been. So I probably would have guessed about 24-27 would have been my guess for this coming week.
I think it'll get up to 4 touchdowns. I think it'll get up to 28.
28.5. That's probably what it's going to be.
And I think I'll bet on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think I'll pick Ohio State in my pickup.
I've been right on almost everything else tonight. Hey, remember we were talking at the beginning of this? I was like, I'm not going to hit the over on this Michigan State-Iowa game.
Yeah.
45 now.
Dude, they're like a first down away from really being able to ice this game. If they
that
get
over
this
was just a ridiculous number.
Stay in bounds or run out. That's fine too. All right, Jack. Coming up in the I-80 Club, man, dude, I was so and I'm still pumped for Doug Maurice. But I was so pumped to book that interview because I was like, coming off of the Indiana game, we're going to be excited. Doug covered Ohio State for so many years. This is going to be great. And now it's just, I don't know. It's going to be like more depressing. But Doug will join us on Tuesday. That should be a whole lot of fun. He is someone who is now in independent media full time. He left his job at the newspaper. So if you like a little media nerdum in terms of questions, I imagine that you will enjoy that. I plan on asking Doug a few of those questions. I imagine, Jack, that you were going to ask him about that stuff too, and certainly we'll talk a lot of Big Ten. But that's coming up Tuesday, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, no, I look forward to talking to him. We'll probably talk about a lot of teams. We don't have to dwell on the devastation anymore. Oh, Michigan State scored.
There you go.
Maybe you all knew that already. Maybe I'm behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and Texas scored, by the way, as well, for those.
I did see that. All right, so I was going to lose. Oh, here's the other thing before we leave. The Big Ten standings, like power ranking, well, standings or power rankings, probably different things, but it's obviously now Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana at the top, not necessarily in that order. And then I guess,
oh my gosh,
Illinois.
It's Illinois.
And then there's Illinois alone. And
you said Penn State, right?
Oh, Penn State. I forgot Penn State.
Yeah. They're
Penn
in the
State
first
goes
tier.
The top group. Yeah. Sorry, 4 at the top.
4
at the top, then Illinois on its own, and then
everybody else.
I guess legit everyone else.
Yeah. Except for Purdue. Purdue's at the bottom.
Below everyone.
Purdue's below. Yeah, Purdue's at the bottom.
Even Northwestern. Northwestern's not down there. Does Wisconsin belong with Illinois now?
Illinois, no. They belong at the higher portion of the next tier, though.
Portion of tier 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Along with
what a weird conference. Hey, there's a topic for us with Doug.
God, the conferences, yeah. Like it's just outside of those top 5. I mean, like it's the conference just isn't deep this year. It really isn't.
Or is it deep? Is it? I guess like one person's deep is another person's.
That's what I always used to say about the Big Ten when Nebraska was in the Big 8 and Big 12. Oh, I complain because our fans would always say we beat ourselves up during the season.
Yeah.
That was always my Big Ten fun making go to.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it is now. Oh, lovely.
Well, I felt like that was just scattershot all over the place. So I hope people who watched it enjoyed it. But it's when you have something like that is so unexpected and it's negative, it's kind of hard to even know how to deal with it and have a show that isn't just obvious, not interesting grievances, but also not to be all over the place. And that's, I guess, what we chose tonight. So
yeah. Indeed. If you enjoyed it, we would love to have you become a patron, patreon.com/I-80 Club. Every comment that we read tonight throughout the pod did come from our subscribers inside of our Discord server. For $8 a month, you can join the community tier. You can hang out with them, whether it's during a show or during really just everyday life as, wow, Georgia gets a big play. So you can head over there, patreon.com/I-80 Club. Certainly like and subscribe to the YouTube page as well, though. We have a ton of stuff upcoming. We will be doing a basketball post-game show for select games in the non-conference season. We have most of those games pretty much locked down. We'll be doing Jack will be doing a Friday morning Nebraska basketball podcast each and every week starting on November the 1st. So 13 days from now, that show will begin. And we will also have the regular Wednesday night, Saturday morning, and Saturday night post-game shows, as well as +1. So, Jack, there's going to be a week at some point in time soon where we're going to have like 7 pods. And I also do NFL stuff with Mike Schaefer sometimes.
Right. And if you're interested in you're interested in hearing our Nebraska ball stuff, that post-game show won't have an official start time. So I just advise anyone who's watching now, and if you think you'd be interested in any of those other shows, just subscribe to this channel. Then you'll know. It's easier to keep track than looking for our tweets when we say what time we're going to go on. So that's the best way to do it if you're watching it live or after the fact, and it helps us out a little bit too. So please do that.
Yeah, like and subscribe. We'll be starting that soon. The first post game show will be 2 weeks from Monday, and as we mentioned, the first Friday show will be 2 weeks from yesterday. So
November
all that
1st.
coming up.
Day after Halloween.
Yeah, next week, by the way, some things to look out for. National Fun League, Mike Schaefer and yours truly, 7:45 a.m. on Monday morning. We will recap week, 7 in the NFL? Thank God the Cowboys aren't playing. Tuesday night, Doug Maurice will join us. We'll talk Big Ten football and hosting KOTN. Wednesday night, into club. we will have then Saturday and Saturday.
Show.
So yeah,
I don't know what Wednesday is going to go like. This will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how we've progressed.
Yes,
since today. So,
Yeah.
but Wednesday, yes, join us then. Subscribe, and a lot going on. So, thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. We had a pretty big crowd here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Those of you who aren't members, thank you for hanging out. Please come back once again. And I think Josh covered everything. So we'll be back on Wednesday.
Yep, and Monday
together.
morning. Yep, Monday morning before that, and then Tuesday night as well. So we will see you then. Enjoy the football tonight. We'll talk to you later.